Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. Delighted to be joined by Paul Kelly for another boxing betting tip show. Paul, so close last week to getting your treble spot on. We were just discussing it. How did you feel when the bell went for the end of round 6 for Beterbiev Yard?
Oh, I was gutted. I was gutted. The way the fight started, I was like, oh no, I don't think this is gonna. I mean, but they were going at a frantic pace. A part of me was like, it could happen. But then Yard, I think, pleasantly surprised quite a lot of people as well. So that part of me was thinking, no, it's not going to come in. But then the ending came 2 rounds later. So
Yeah,
I was only 2 rounds out of I landed a big treble. So that is a bit annoying, but sure, I'll make up for it this week.
yeah. We go again. Just to do a quick review. Treble you did was over 12-1. Moses Atuma to win in round 1. I think he won within, was it 15 seconds of round 1? That fight was a bit of a joke, but that was 4-5. So if you think that even as a single, that nearly evens, that was very easy money. Artem Delakian, the Ukrainian to win by decision, was 9-4 in a close fight. I thought he won, but it was a close fight. But yeah, 9-4, you picked that as well. And then Artur Beterbiev to win in rounds 1-6 against Anthony Yard, and he ends up winning in round 8. So yeah, 2 rounds away from predicting a treble that was over 12-1. So very close, but we go again this week. Here we are again. Yeah, got a DAZN card in Madison Square Garden in New York to focus on, Paul. Yeah, I'll let you take it away with your first betting tip for us this weekend.
Yeah, as you mentioned there, the Madison Square Garden show. Obviously, we've got some headlined by two undisputed clashes in two different weight divisions with the women. My first betting tip is going to come from the Amanda Serrano fight. She's fighting Erica Cruz Hernandez for all of the featherweight belts, I believe. And I know Amanda Serrano, she's 43 wins or whatever across a number of different weight divisions. 30 of them have been knockouts. However, if you look at the last few of her fights, against opponents that are credible, which I think Erica Cruz is, they've literally all gone the distance. So I think Amanda Serrano to win against Erica Cruz Hernandez on points at 4-7 is a decent enough bet, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I think so. I think if you I think everyone's talking about the Katie Taylor rematch, and I feel like Amanda Serrano herself put out a tweet, I think it was yesterday, saying need to focus on this fight. Basically, people are being disrespectful by not having Hernandez as a legitimate opponent. And yeah, Serrano, big puncher in the women's in women's boxing. But if you look at her last few fights, they have actually gone the distance. Whether she's won or lost, they have gone the distance. So yeah, not against that. I think yeah, should be a fairly safe bet there.
Yeah, I think so, especially with the 2-minute rounds and stuff as well. I think
Yeah,
it's only a 20-minute fight, isn't it then?
yeah, absolutely. I think maybe a debate for another video, but yeah, interested to see if that changes at all this year. If we see 3-minute rounds, 2.5-minute rounds, 12 2-minute rounds, and if that does happen, if we get more stoppages in the sport.
Yeah.
Cool. Moving on, Paul. What's your second tip for us this weekend?
Yeah, it's not on that card. I mean, I was looking at the Lissy Baumgartner fight and stuff, but there was nothing that really massively appealed to me at any decent price. But there obviously is another card in the US, and headlined by Emmanuel Navarrete. He's moving up from featherweight to super featherweight for fight super feather, and he is fighting Liam Wilson, who is, he's 11-1 or 15-1. I can't remember. I think I'm feeling it's like 11. He's 11-1 or something. And his one loss was a knockout defeat, which then he avenged in his next fight, and by knockout as well. So everyone he's faced, he's beaten, I suppose you could say. But at what level compared to Emmanuel Navarrete, who's a lot of people regarded as the best featherweight in the world before he stepped up to super feather, and he punches like a mule. He's got 30 plus stoppages for someone down at that weight. I think it's incredible. So yeah, Wilson is. I'm not saying is he a credible opponent. Probably a credible opponent for your first fight up at a new weight division, but I fully expect Navarrete to run through him, to be honest. And Navarrete to win in rounds 1-6 is 6-4. So I like that, but I think there was a boost on Bet365 and stuff as well. So whatever app you use, but yeah, just to win in rounds 1-6 at 6-4 kind of jumped out at me.
Yeah, Navarrete, a big puncher, and in my opinion, he's a pound for pound fighter. I think if you consider how young he's actually still a young fighter, so he could become a 3-weight world champion at still a fairly young age. It's very impressive. Don't know a lot about Liam Wilson. I know kind of what you're saying about him being stopped. But I think to only have had 12 fights and going up against Navarrete, I would fear for you. So yeah, not against that Navarrete to finish, to get the job done in the first half of the fight. Yeah, interested to see how much of a force he can be at super featherweight as well.
Absolutely, I think it's a big fight for Navarrete. I think there's some good fights there in super featherweight for him, and I think yeah, as I said, I fully expect him to get off to a flying start this weekend.
Fantastic, cool. Looking forward to that one. Going to finish things off, Paul. I know you've got kind of a maybe kind of a value bet that you've been keeping a secret. It's interested to hear about that.
Yeah, so this one comes on that card as well, on the undercard in the Arnold Barboza Jr. against Jose Pedraza fight. And it's really funny because myself and Eliot Greg, when we were previewing this, we're looking at it in a sense that Pedraza's the A side, just because of who he's fought. Yes, he's a little bit older and has lost, but his resume is good. Yes, he's lost 4 times, but if you look at those 4 people he's been beaten by, is Jose Ramirez, Zepeda, Lomachenko, and Gervonta Davis. So like he's losing to the best in the division. The last time out, he got a split decision draw against Richard Comey again. Richard Comey up is one of the best in the division, and yeah, I know Barboza Jr. is 27-0, and there's clearly a lot of hype about him. But at the same time, if you look at his resume in detail, there's some fighters there with good records. But at what level were they fighting at? I think it's a bit of a padded record at 27-0. So, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that I've studied Barboza Jr. and I'm fully confident in this. But Jose Pedraza is a massive underdog. He's 7-2 just to win. So that really jumped out at me just because of his experience. He's 33. He's not, it's not like he's 40s. He's still got a few years ahead of him. He's operated at a higher level, has been world level for years and years. And that just kind of jumped out at me as an underdog value bet. 7-2 for Jose Pedraza to win.
Yeah, interesting. Now you got me thinking. I think some people sometimes look at odds and just think, oh yeah, those odds are too good to be true. That means that guy's definitely not going to win. So I'll just go with the safe bet. But yeah, I think Pedraza just much more well known than Barboza Jr., I would say. But actually, when you look at kind of their profiles, similar amounts of fights, similar ages. So why can't Pedraza win this? He's not been kind of humiliated in the fights that he's lost. He's actually done okay against the elite opponents that he's faced. So yeah, I'm all for that. I'm all for that. Again, I think only thing I'd add on to it is kind of Pedraza 29 wins, 14 KOs. So maybe if you want to go that step further, maybe you could step towards a points win, but I'm not gonna. This is your show, so I'm not gonna push it.
Yeah,
thanks for that,
points
Paul.
win as well. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Sorry, and I'm pretty sure points win was like 6-1 or something. So
Mm.
even better odds there. More, I can see you're tempted.
Yeah, it depends how greedy you want to be. That's the problem. Cool. Enjoyed that, Paul. Yeah, no major UK boxing this week, but yeah, plenty of odds outside of the UK to discuss. Yeah, as always, just going to ask you to put those 3 bets into a treble, and then yeah, we'll let everyone know where that's at.
Yeah, just to recap then, it is Amanda Serrano to win on points, which is 4-7. Navarrete to win in rounds 1-6, which was 6-4, and Jose Pedraza to beat Arnold Barboza at 7-2. You combine that into a treble, and it comes out at 16.67 to 1. So very, very good odds this week. A fiver gets you 88 quid, and a tenner gets you 176 quid. So more value than last week's even. And we know how close it was last week. So yeah, fingers crossed this week. Fingers crossed this week.
Yeah,
this one can come in.
Yeah, definitely. Can shout it from the rooftops if this one comes in. Paul, always a pleasure. We'll be back next week with the return of Adam Azim next week, of course, on the Boxer card. But so yeah, looking forward to reviewing some betting tips for that one. Thank you for joining me, mate, and yeah, I'll speak to you again next week.